We're live. Hi, hi, hi. Let me send out my link so everybody knows that we are live. While I'm doing that, welcome to the very first Iqra Trials live show of 2022. I'm very proud of that. I think it's what year? I think this is the third year of the Iqra Trials. Wow. I didn't realize I've been doing it for that long. If you're new here, let me know if this is your first Iqra Trials live show, if you're a returning veteran. Um, so the first book that we read this year was Tahira in Bloom for multiple reasons. Main reason is because my birthday was in January. I turned 23. And I wanted to read a book that had my name in it, like purely uh narcissistic tendencies. But also, I wanted to start with a YA book. I'm not a big fan of YA anymore, specifically like YA contemporary, just because of the fact that I'm grown now. So I was like, let's start with Tahira and Bloom. It sounded like a cute book. Also, while people are still coming in, letting y'all know that we have a very special guest, Rameela from the page Stars Brite. I've been following Rameela for so long. I feel like we've been mutuals since I've been on the internet posting any type of bookish content. She's always been a really great supporter of mine. But also, I wanted her insight because Tahira in Bloom follows a Desi Muslim main character, and Rameela is Desi and Muslim. And so I wanted to get her perspective. Inshallah, the goal is to have people of um, the same identities as whoever we're reading about for the live shows. Inshallah, that is the goal. Let me tell the girls that we're live. Oh, look at my faves. Gang, gang. Not present. Salam. I'm excited too. I haven't done like what's the word? A formal live show in so long. Like, even part of the reason I'm like 5 minutes late is because I was like, I was about to pull up on here in a hoodie because Sincerely Sunday's crew, you already know how we get down. So I was like, okay, I have to um be presentable. This is new. This is different. Y'all know I'm sitting there laying in my bed. So before things get too crazy or we get too deep into the conversation, what I like to do is have everybody leave their ratings. And then at the end of the live show, I ask people again if their ratings have changed. There's been some times where people have changed their ratings, never more than like a star or like half a star, but it's happened. So let me know what your ratings of the book is. Also, let me know if anything sounds weird or looks weird. My AirPods may die halfway through. You already know the deal. Y'all know how this goes. But yeah, what is your rating of Tahira and Bloom? Also, I would hope everybody has finished it. We're definitely gonna have spoilers. Last year, there were moments where we didn't have spoilers. I would try to keep like the first half spoiler free, and then we kind of like went in towards the end. But I want everybody to have the freedom to just talk about however they were feeling about the book. Hold on one. Let me share everything. I'm screaming. I'm screaming. Y'all are so mean. Oh my gosh. Of course, the regulars are like, "Yeah, I hate it here." Okay. Wow. That's a bit depressing. I did tell y'all in the Discord server that this was going to be a questionable book. Somebody brought up the fact that the author has always written questionable Muslim rep. And I also wanted to pick this book because of that. Usually I read good books, or even if there's not Muslim rep involved, at least the author is Muslim and she can write well. That's how always been the case. But the original like inspiration for the Iqra trials was the fact that I couldn't find any Muslim rep that I really liked or felt comfortable with. And I wanted to challenge that lack of representation, but also being able to say, like, this book is not good Muslim rep, or this is not the only book that you should consider Muslim rep, or here are some alternatives. Because as we know, the representation, quote unquote, for Muslims is very singular. Give me 1 second, y'all. And then I'm gonna send a link to Rameela so she can hop on. Okay, 2.75 out of 5. I rounded up to a 3. Okay, that's not bad. I expected a little bit worse. Not surprised. 2 for effort. Right, right. Totally. Right. Wa alaikum salam. Thanks for joining. I agree to this. We'll get more into my thoughts later on, but yeah. Yo, y'all just coming in hot this year. Wow. Oh my goodness. I hope she not watching, child. Can you imagine? I think that's part of the reason why I don't always put like the author's name for the live shows. Like they don't need to be involved. You know what I mean? Like it's fine. Oh, these are pretty. Hold on, y'all. Rameela is on her way. Not sure hearing me type. Also, I want to specify that I will be leaving this on my channel. If you're new to me and you've only been following me for like a few months, then all you've probably heard of is me doing my Sincerely Sundays live, which I never share. I never save or share. But the Iqra Trials lives, they always live on my channel. So no worries, you can go back and watch it whenever you want. It'll be there. Okay, boom. Okay, the cover is beautiful. I don't have the hold on. Let me pull up my Kindle because I really do like the cover. It was so pretty. Love the floral inspiration. I'm wearing a little bit of like pink in solidarity. And look, wait, hold on. Look, there's a flower. I mean, there's like leaves up there. Hold on. This is what you see what I mean? And then I have my vines over there. Like we got the flower theme going on. Oh yeah, Rameela is here. So please go and welcome to my first guest, Rameela.
Hello.
Hi,
Assalamualaikum.
you're so pretty.
Thank you. I got ready like this. I was like,
Literally me. I was telling them that like I'm so used to my live stream just being so chill. And I was like, do I have to put on like real clothes? Like I gotta be
I'm
like,
literally
what?
in my pajamas. I just put the sweater on and like the scarf.
What
I
an
was like,
icon. We love the pink. I was just on the, I put a little pink on. It's kind of, reminiscent of the book cover. Um, I asked everybody to just say their ratings of the book.
I'm here for the slander.
It's the funniest thing ever because I mean nobody's wrong. Um, so if you want to introduce yourself,
All
I
right.
feel like I kind of
Hello.
gave you like a warm welcome, but yeah,
I'm Rameela. I go by Star on Instagram and basically every other platform except for YouTube. Um.
it'd be
So
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So I was so honored that Rameela said yes to being on the live show because when I reached out to her, she was like, the book looks a little questionable. And I was like, I know. She was like, okay, but if I'm allowed to like roast it, I was like, absolutely bring on the
Yeah.
roasting. That's what we're here for. It doesn't have to be, perfect or eloquent or even positive. Like, let's just build a tea. Like, that's the whole point. Nobody's being
Yeah.
honest about Muslim rep. A lot of people are like, oh, it's a Muslim author that wrote a book. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know that was the
I
bare
have
minimum.
standards. Yeah. Love from A to Z
Literally
made the standard.
ruined me for life. Oh my gosh. Okay, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed reading it, but roasting it while reading was fun. Yeah, yeah.
That's a good plan, honestly.
I love that.
If I didn't want to join this live, I probably would have stopped reading it about 20% through. No joke.
I struggled too. A part of me felt a little bit bad that I made you guys read this because it was like definitely questionable.
Yeah.
Like, please. Please. Oh my gosh. Okay. So for the people that haven't read Tahira in Bloom, an easy way to summarize it is we have Tahira, who is she Indian? I believe she's Indian, right?
I think she's Pakistani.
Is it
I
okay?
don't want to
Okay,
claim that though.
she's
Like I don't want
she's
to.
she's a Desi Muslim.
Yeah.
Teenager. I think she's 17. She is an aspiring fashion designer from Toronto, I believe.
Mhm.
And this is like over the summer, or summer is about to start, and she has this dream of interning for this other DC designer that she's really, really like obsessed with. And the interview kind of fell through because the designer got injured. So in exchange, I guess her mom reached out to her aunt and was like, her aunt owns a clothing store and would let Tahira kind of do like a whole revamp inventory of the store physically, go over some designs, all of that. And I mean, it'll look nice on her resume. So like Tahira begrudgingly says yes. And her and her best friend go to like the sticks, like literally middle of nowhere. And her aunt's neighbor is like really into flowers, or the whole town is just like
The whole
really
town
into
is just
flowers.
really obsessed.
I think that's like their main source of like income. Like they just be selling flowers to people. And
Very
so
Hallmark.
yes, so she ends up getting she finds out about this flower competition, and the winner of the flower competition gets sent to New York, and then there's a bigger like competition, I believe. Or no, she meets up with like you're supposed to meet up with like some big designer who was really in love with flowers as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she has like these quote unquote friends, basically just like co-workers, and she's working at her aunt's shop. And Tahira is also an influencer. I use those words, I use the
Oh,
quotations like
I don't even want to claim
very,
her. Like I don't like calling myself an influencer, even though I know
oh
like
my God.
technically I am, but like I don't want
Yeah,
to claim her as one. Like,
literally. I know she looks so good.
thank you.
Not the first 25%. First of all, the fact that y'all know that the book is bad and still feel comfortable enough to be like, yeah, and I still didn't finish it, but I'm here. Like I just needed to be present for the roasting, even though I don't even know what the half of the book ended up as. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what were your thoughts? Give us like very simple, straightforward, and then we can go into like certain details later. But just overall, first impressions going into the book.
Overall, first of all, like I feel like they tried to do like an Emily in Paris sort of situation, sort
Yes.
of, and then like they tried to make her Emma, except she was worse than Emma. Like Emma is still likable, and then this
Yes.
woman, I was like, bro, I know you're a teenager, but like even in my worst teenager days, I did not act this bad, you know?
Yes.
And I don't know, it just I feel like if I hadn't known it was a Muslim book, I wouldn't have realized it was a Muslim book. It was mentioned 2 times, 3 times maybe.
And she thought
Otherwise,
she did something with the mentioning too. I'm like,
yeah, like I highlighted every time she mentioned that she was Muslim specifically because I wanted to see like whether like if you take out the word Muslim, is it still the same book or does it change? And that's kind of the
right.
whole point of it being a Muslim book. Is
Yeah, I
there's
would
so much
hope,
that goes
especially
into it.
yeah, especially because they bring it up, and even in the industries that she's in, she specifically brings up the potential struggles she may go through
Yeah.
as someone who is brown and Muslim. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
are you
but one, she's not hijabi, so like it's a little bit different than if you're like not that there's anything
very
against
different?
being a hijabi, it's just like you're not visibly Muslim
Yeah,
unless you're saying like inshallah in public or like,
yeah,
praying in public or it's
yeah,
just not obvious. So like her having to physically write down being brown and Muslim just felt so forced. Like this could
yes,
have easily just been a normal brown book and been fine.
yeah.
I still would
Especially
have
because
not
she kind
liked
of
it, but
wasn't, she wasn't even practicing a lot. And I think one thing that SK Ali does really well that every other Muslim young adult Muslim author needs to like work on is that her Muslim characters are still fully fledged human beings. Like
yeah,
they're Muslim, so they talk about the fact that they have to pray, or that they were wearing hijab, or like going to the masjid because we're
yeah,
Muslim. Like that's what we do, and it's not even just really the highlight of the book. It's just their human experience because
yeah.
they're Muslim in a way that's so normal. It doesn't have to be like, and I pull out my prayer rug and we face the Qibla 5 times a day and I made wudu, my cleaning ritual. Like, it doesn't have to
Yeah,
be that. And every Muslim is, of course, on different levels of like
yeah,
practicing in spirituality, of course. But, and you can let me know if you feel the same way, I feel like it's not a coincidence that majority of the books that are being published by Muslim authors all have the same Muslim experience.
yep.
Even the
It's
authors themselves don't be covering. I don't even
yeah,
know how practicing they are. And it's not shade, it's just like,
yeah. It's the perfect like white people will like approach us sort of
yes,
version of Muslim. It's
yes,
not us.
exactly. And
Yeah.
it's very obvious and apparent. Overall, how did you feel about the romance? Because it was definitely enemies to lovers, I guess, is what we're
Yeah,
calling it.
it was once I pushed aside the fact that like me personally, I don't like the whole dating aspect of like it's a very different like I like courting and dating is very different and the Western idea is weird
Yeah.
to me. Once I got past that and I was like, okay, fine, just pretend that she's just a brown person and
Yeah.
she's dating. Um, it was fine, I
Mm.
guess, but I don't know. It just felt like it felt really forced to me. I don't know if that makes
Mm.
sense. I liked
It
the
definitely
friendship
feels weird.
aspect more than the romance. So
I agree. I think, what was the sister's name?
I
Junebug,
don't remember.
Juniper. What was
Yeah.
her name? One of the. Okay, first of all, I like you said about the romance. I This is where you can tell
Hmm.
the level of, I guess, like practicing that the author is, because almost
Yeah.
always in these YA books, there's always a boyfriend, a girlfriend, dating or whatever, and it's just so funny how it's like glossed over
Yeah.
as if that's not such a huge thing, like in our
Yeah.
faith and even in our experiences as like Muslim women, how we've been raised, like don't talk
Yeah.
to boys, don't talk. And
And
they're just
then
like, what?
yeah, and then and it's always in the books, it's always explained because the parents are too strict. Like even in this book, she
Yes.
mentions that she dated because her parents are a little more relaxed. And I'm like, bro, it's not the parents, it's just it's religion. It's just
Is there not like a faith that you follow that has certain, like, rules and regulations about like how to go
yeah.
about things, and it's just not spoken about at all? And like you said, it's not even fair to say that, oh, even when she mentioned like, I have a lot more freedom than the other brown girls that I know.
Yeah.
I can dress however I want. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay.
Those are the things I look for to see whether a Muslim book is like good or not.
Yes.
Like it's just those tiny like red flags, whether you're comparing to other Muslims or
Yes.
like shutting down other parts of faith.
Yeah.
Because I understand you can be at a different level of faith, but you don't have to push other people down
Yeah.
to talk about your level of faith. And that's what like bugs me
Especially
about this one.
especially without acknowledging that you are like not following what you're supposed and not doing what you're supposed to be
Yeah.
doing. Like you can't say somebody else is so strict, quote unquote, whatever that
Yeah.
means.
Ugh.
And it's always even that, like, that negative connotation to practicing your religion that's in these books. I feel like it's so dangerous
Hmm.
for young Muslim teens to read about. And it's obviously different for us because we're older, but if I was 17 reading this, especially like, I can only imagine me at 17, just kind of really getting into the whole social media space, being someone that loves fashion and reading a book about somebody who
Hmm.
has my name,
Yeah.
and like the impact that it might have had, or even just negatively about her experience, but specifically because of her boyfriend and his family being Black. We've talked about this in the Discord server, and literally,
Oof.
I they were not Black. Rowan,
It was only mentioned. It was never like if you can't go without mentioning the fact that they are Black, like in a sentence, oh, he is Black, and then
right.
nothing else. If you take out that sentence and the book doesn't change, then they're not Black. Like,
I don't think people understand that, especially authors who are writing about experiences, people of different cultures or religions or walks of life that they
yeah,
aren't, that it's not just, like you said, insert this name, this word, this
yeah,
adjective here. Like,
yeah,
being Black shapes your entire experience just as a
yeah,
person. And even you adding on the fact that, okay, he's Black, but he's also in a small town. You know, his family are doctors and X, Y, and Z. It's like all of these things
Yeah.
impact him. And so something that I feel like all the black people picked up on very quickly is even just the way that he spoke. Like we don't speak like other people.
Yeah.
Even black people that are raised around a lot of white people or raised in a small town, all those black people still talk the same,
Yeah.
even if they talk different from me, somebody who was raised in the city. And so those things are just a bit annoying, especially
Mhm.
because there were so many like BIPOC solidarity moments. And it was just like, girl,
Like,
please.
it just felt like it was all the discussions that were put in there were very specifically to, like, solidify this, "Hey, guys,
Yes.
I know how to write more
Yes.
than one brown person."
And it was so cringy. Oh my
It really
gosh.
was. I was like, "You really," I honestly wouldn't have even cared if if everybody in the town was white and she was the only brown person. It would not have affected my experience. I still would not have liked this book.
I was screaming. This is the reason why I'm so hesitant to read any Muslim focused books because most aren't religious or bare minimum.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. What does freedom mean though? It seems like freedom to her means the Western
Yeah.
ideas. Yes,
Yeah.
literally.
Now,
Proximity
for
to whiteness.
the freedom part, I feel like when I was a teenager and still in high school, I did start to fall into this trap and this mentality
Mm,
of like, oh, like wanting to move out and being more white in like
yeah.
personality. So I can see why, like, I feel like I can forgive that in a teenager in this
Mm.
story. However, you could see that the author also had this mentality. So
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not saying that Muslims have to be perfect,
yeah,
but we have to acknowledge or at least challenge these ideas. I
yeah,
think that's the big part about YA books is because you know that the character is going to be a little crappy in the
yeah,
beginning and you want them to go through some growth and changes. And so she did kind of grow, but it's just interesting that the things that she grew in regards to her mentality about social media, um, and I guess like the industry that she's in, she grew in that sense, but it wasn't even a question that her frame of
yeah,
thinking was westernized and
yeah,
was definitely portrayed as if there was something wrong with being other than how she presented. Like that
yeah,
wasn't even a question. And like you said, that's how you know the author is fine with this as well. Like
yeah.
this is just their
Personally,
experience.
I don't even think she went through growth. Like,
Oop,
I
not drag.
I honestly don't, because what happened is that you understand her point of view, like, you get into her mind enough to, like, see what she's thinking, but, like, she hasn't
Mm,
changed, you just see more of her, and then on top of
mm,
that, everybody around her got worse. Like her
mm.
ex-boyfriend or whatever, and her best friend, I don't even remember her name, Gia?
Gia, yes, Gia.
Yeah, like, they all regressed, so it made her look better. It wasn't even
Yeah.
her personal growth, it was just everybody else was worse than her, so
That's very valid. Did she grow? Did Farah make every other character in the book?
yeah,
Literally.
exactly.
Literally. And when you think about it, it's like you didn't grow because other people are basically making decisions for you.
Yeah,
Because Gia, I realized very early on, was kind of a crappy friend,
yeah,
like almost from the minute she was introduced. And also, we have to be very mindful of these. I feel like these types of whether they're Muslim people or just BIPOC people in general. I think we already know it's definitely a red flag if
yeah,
you're of a certain marginalized group and you don't have any friends around you that reflect that.
yeah,
It's a red flag.
yeah,
Like it's a red flag.
yeah,
Like she was with Gia, and then she was dating her cousin. Like you don't
yeah.
got no
If you
brown
don't
friends. You
have
don't have
any
no
other
Muslim
brown
friends.
friends, you live in Toronto, like
What about your sister? Like she didn't have no relationship with her sister. The only other Muslim woman
yeah,
mentioned in the book,
what?
like, and then coincidentally, her mentor, who was kind of mentioned in the book, isn't the central plot anymore. So it's not even like we get to see her
Yeah,
interact with a brown person most of the time. And then like yeah, you have like Rona or whatever, but then they're not Muslim, and it wasn't even a
yeah,
conversation about, especially when feelings started to develop between them,
mhm.
wherever the hell that happened, because I still don't understand what's going
Really though.
on. But like when feelings starting to develop, it wasn't any conversation about her being Muslim or her Muslim experience and what that would mean dating wise. And I guess that's
Yeah,
because she was already with mark. But something that we brought up in the Discord server, and I wanted to get your opinion on it, how
Mhm.
super early in the book it was talking about her parents and how like they're not strict or whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It mentioned that her parents gave her the sex talk and just handed her condoms.
Yeah. What?
And we were talking about, people were literally saying that like no brown parent would do this, even if
Right?
they're pro sexual education, they
Like,
wouldn't just throw condoms at their
I went to
teenagers.
medical school. Did I receive the talk? No. I didn't. I wasn't even allowed to take those health classes in high school and middle school.
I'm screaming. It's just
Like,
like so weird. Oh my gosh. It
like
was
good for
so
them, I
weird.
guess. But what?
It first of all, that's not even like a good talk to give to, like, that's not how you even do the sex talk to a 17-year
Yeah.
old, like throwing condom. No. Um I okay. But and then adding on the fact that we're literally Muslim, or I would hope we are, because it just seemed like it was my Muslim ass reading the book, and I don't know what the hell she was doing. But like we're all Muslim here, and it's just like, is there no conversation about abstaining from sex or even being mindful of falling into things like zina, and even just like the fact that I wouldn't be happy if it was like two Muslim kids dating, but even if that, like, I feel like even that is a
Yeah. It's
bit better than
yeah.
always like a Chad. Like,
Yeah.
why?
With a random white boy, like, oof,
It's
like
embarrassing.
it really
I went
is.
to a very white elementary and middle school and still had a lot of brown friends
Same.
outside of school. Exactly. Oh, let's talk about it. I forgot the type of Muslim that they said that she was. I was asking in the Discord server, and they said that I think it's a sect of like Shia Muslims.
Yeah, it's called
And
Ismaili Muslim. I like highlighted things in this
I was like
Kindle, like
I was like, who are they? Like I kind of felt
yeah.
bad because I was like, okay, okay.
Like I mean I
Um,
learned something about a different sect of Muslim, but
I mean, I guess that they exist, that's about it. And like the name
yeah,
of the
but like
like
the problem is there was nothing about it. I feel like it would have been cool to see maybe more information about that if she,
exactly.
practiced, but
Exactly. Even with that, like if she is, like, or even if the author is Shia, we don't see a lot of books about Shia Muslims. So like even
yeah,
that could have been that feels like a missed opportunity in that sense.
yeah.
And we were joking about it because she literally said, yeah, and like I was going through life, going to the mosque with my aunt every Friday. Girl, you only pray on Friday?
Yeah, what?
Did I miss something?
Like there was never any mention of it. Like I don't know, it was just so weird to me. I don't know. It's just such a big part of like like for me, it's such a big part of life that like I stop
Yeah,
everything I'm doing to go pray, or I set
yeah,
my schedule to make sure that I pray or try at least.
yeah.
And there was never any mention of it except for the one like Jummah prayer, and I'm like, okay, I guess.
No
Good for
just
you. I'm glad you're going to
no.
Friday prayers at least. Proud
I
of
feel
you.
like that's great. But even that, like the Friday prayer, it replaces Dora and it's short. It's like two rakats. Like
It
what
was
is
it was mentioned. I was like every time something Muslim like happened to be mentioned, I was like, oh right, I forgot I'm reading like a Muslim book. Right, this reminded me. Right when I was
oh my
about to
gosh.
forget.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I wanted to touch on um the whole influencer fashion designer mindset, as both being women who create content on the internet and who are also very visibly Muslim. I know that for me it was a bit frustrating to see her mention the struggles that she would go through, yes, for being brown, but bringing up her being Muslim when, to be honest, the only kind of Muslim thing about her is her name. And I
Yeah,
know that so many people would just read that off as like, oh, she's just another brown girl, without
yeah,
any thought about where she would be from. They'll like probably call like, oh yeah,
yeah,
like you're Punjabi, right? Like people don't.
yeah,
It wouldn't be much more thought than that. That was something that was very frustrating because it's like there are actual very visible, highly marginalized Muslim women in these spaces, or
yeah,
trying to, or doing what she's doing, that actually have to face
yeah,
Islamophobia. And it felt very much like the conversation we hear from mixed people all the time. Like, I was too black for the white kids, too white for the black kids. Oh my
yeah,
God. Like, it just felt like
yeah,
that. And it was kind of like a slap in the face as well, because the author herself is writing about an experience she does not have, even if she
yeah,
wore hijab from the ages of like 2 to 16.
yeah.
You
I
no
feel
longer
like
wear a hijab. Like,
yeah. I feel like this book had such a good opportunity, or like it missed an opportunity to like, if she had been creating fashion, like modest fashion, you know, like something
yes,
that was in the realm of Islam. If she had
yes,
had that, then it okay, like that's really interesting. That's not something we've seen in books other than the fact that she's
yeah.
brown. It would have been like, okay, I understand why she's not getting like the recognition she deserves, and like it would have been a better discussion if she'd done something that was more in the line of Islamic, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, or even incorporating her brown culture into her fashion. Like she's
Yeah,
talking about she's just making crop tops. I'm like, girl,
yeah,
you ain't made no salwar kameez. Like,
yeah. Like
what are we
brown
doing?
people's clothes are so much better anyway. Like I don't understand.
I'm like, girl, you doing this crop top? Like,
Yeah, like
you
you
would
don't
do a
even
sari in a
like
crop top?
modest.
Like,
If you did desi clothes, not even if they weren't modest, because there are like a lot of
yeah,
like, you know, India and Pakistan like clothes that aren't fully suited to like hijabi wear. But like
yeah.
even if you just did that, it would be so much better than whatever you're trying to do. Like
It was very weird, very awkward. And then also, I hate how there's always like this stigma against influencers nowadays, and it's very frustrating for the rest of us who don't fall into that category. Like I always
yeah,
have to specify that I'm not that type of influencer
yeah,
or I'm not, like whoever you think like I'm not that type of girl. And even that really frustrated me from what's his name, Rowan? Hearing him
yeah, yeah,
all like
yeah.
first of all, why is he calling her thirst trap? Was that like I
Yeah,
don't
that was such a
know.
weird nickname. I didn't understand.
And thirst trap, it has such a heavy sexual connotation. It was weird.
Yeah,
Thirst trap? Okay.
like
I don't know. I don't know if that was the author trying to give a little like black stuff. I don't know. It was
yeah, it
very
was
weird.
weird.
Very, 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 very weird. But even his anger towards influencers, which on one hand, obviously, like I get because he had like his personal experience with people disrespecting his little flower farm. Like, oh my gosh, like okay, cool. But the fact that she kind of in some ways played into
Yeah,
that stigma and that stereotype, and also the fact that we kind of didn't even see her really go into what it means to be an influencer in
yeah.
that way. And I feel like this is also the difference between she's being somebody who's, I wouldn't even call her influencer. She's using
Honestly.
yeah, she's using Instagram to promote her other stuff, which is fine. Like that's
But that's
great.
not what
But
influencing is. So,
that's not what influencing is. You're using Instagram as a portfolio, which
yeah,
is fine. Like that's literally what a lot of people do. But I wouldn't say that she is somebody that has influence or even has an audience or has a
yeah,
community. Like we don't see her talking about like brand deals and everything goes back to her as a
yeah,
designer. So the heavy stigma on her as an influencer just felt
yeah.
misplaced.
And
It
the
was
whole
very
time she
weird.
just kept like the whole time Rowan's opinion of her was like, "Oh, I realize now that you're not like the other influencers." But like she is. His interpretation of influencer is exactly what she is. Like
Yeah, that's exactly what she was doing. It was literally, it was so weird. It was just very, 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 very weird. Oh my gosh. Because of how Rowan started talking like cartoon character. Oh my god. I was like, it's like
it
he
felt
wrote
like a
that.
Hallmark, like you know those Hallmark meet cutes that they try to do, where it's like the
Oh
grumpy
my
guy and then the girl
god.
that's oblivious. That's what it felt like the author was trying to convey, and it just didn't work the way that it was planned.
No, and I feel like okay, I'm not the biggest fan of enemies to lovers. I don't hate it. Um, but if you're gonna do enemies to lovers, especially for young teenagers, we have to be mindful that we're not normalizing negative behaviors from
Yeah,
men and then rewarding them by being in relationships with
yeah,
them. Like enemies to lovers can literally just be people that don't get along
yeah,
without it ever having to be like I said, that comment about thirst trap, like I said, is heavily sexualized.
yeah.
And they did have moments where it was just like teasing and like they didn't get along and da 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 da. But I just felt like sometimes we teeter totter that line, especially
Hmm.
considering towards the end, she's like, I'm in love with him.
I don't understand. I feel like when I read this book, I had just gotten off of a like I was realizing that I'm starting to find, I guess, sadly outgrow YA.
Yeah.
in the sense that I don't like books that heavily discuss like high school anymore. It's just not
Yeah.
relevant to me anymore. And so
It's a
like
bit
going into
cringy.
this, yeah, going into this, I was like, I just know that it's just gonna make me so uncomfortable reading.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's frustrating. I'm screaming. Not I'm glad I didn't read the book. Yeah, we were all supposed to suffer together. Oh my gosh. Oh my
Oh,
gosh. Okay. So, oh, what were your thoughts of Gia and like the whole friend group, even them being in where Bakersfield, Bakersview, the boyfriend. What were your thoughts about that?
that whole I don't even know. Like it's so weird to see like how do you get into such a bad friend group? Like
It speaks
I
volumes. I feel like you
yeah.
attract she definitely attracted those type of people. It was very weird. Even like okay, Gia is one thing, but even with like Mark, even that is like what?
Yeah,
She's literally talking about you like, yeah, he he's like her boyfriend for the people that didn't read the book. Mark is like her boyfriend. He's Gia's cousin, which I want to mention this because I mentioned it on Discord. It really bothered me. She's like, yeah, Gia's family is Italian, and they realized she was Muslim because she wasn't eating like salami. That's how
it's always that line. It's always that line. It's always like, "Oh, I don't eat pork, so I'm Muslim." As if that like,
it's not
is that the only
I don't
thing?
I don't eat pork equals Muslim is not how it should be. It's I'm Muslim and so I don't engage in certain type of behaviors and one of them is that I
Exactly.
don't eat pork. Like
Like, what in the world? Oh,
it bothered me
this is
so
like
much.
the 4th or 5th book that I read that like the only identifier of them being a Muslim is that they don't eat pork or they don't drink alcohol, and I'm like, "Okay, I guess that's what we are now." Like,
I mean,
better
I
than
guess if
being
you
like a
want
terrorist, I guess, but
I mean like if you want a cookie for that, like sure. But yeah, so she's with Mark and it's so weird. Even okay, I will say that her realizing the difference between somebody supporting her and somebody trying to like clout chase or use her, I feel like was an important lesson.
yeah.
I don't know if she necessarily learned it. What's his it was a Mark?
We really like that character, clearly, like,
And his name and Mark anyway.
he acted like
Um
a mark, so
Right. I think it was important, but I just don't even with that, it wasn't something that was really fleshed out.
yeah,
A moment that would have been amazing is her having a conversation with Gia
yeah,
or even a bigger conversation with Mark about these things. Like
yeah.
obviously everybody can have moments where they're like, F you, I'm a baddie, I don't need to talk to you. That's great. His name is it not Mark?
He didn't make an impact, it's fine.
At all, at all. And is
The
Mateo
way
even an Italian name?
I didn't remember the, like, love interest name either, so, like, honestly,
Child, no. But yeah, it's just like it would have been a moment to really show her sticking up for herself, having these conversations versus just, oh, me and Gio, we don't even talk about we kind of like say hi when we see each other in the halls. It's like,
yeah, yeah.
okay. What
This, whole book followed the structure of, like, the worst kind of Hallmark Disney Channel original movie thing. Like this, it followed that plot
yeah.
device to the T. Like specifically with Gia and like the friend group, everything was just completely marked as like, okay, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen to make the
Yeah.
character look better. Like
And it's
no
2022. Like,
originality.
haven't we outgrown the, like the girl hate, the making fun of things that women like, the whole,
Yeah.
like haven't we the mean girls, like haven't we outgrown them? And it's not saying that these type of people don't exist. But we have, even if you're gonna write these very like loser ass character like villains, I feel like there's so many ways that we've grown and how to handle them and how to
Hmm.
have these conversations. It's just so but you're so right, Ola. She was literally in the book for 20%, and then she was just gone the entire
Yeah.
time. And she didn't even have a conversation with her about that. Like
Yeah.
that's was so weird. Like literally when you're reading YA books, like I said, I'll say it again, it's about growth in some type of way. Like she didn't grow in her friendships that I guess she grew on her relationship with her sister because she said hello to her. But like
Yeah.
that was it. Like, come
I
on
have
now.
like quotes highlighted that are so funny to me because they're so bad. So like,
Oh my gosh.
she's talking to Gia about how she really wanted this internship, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sad about it." And she goes, "I needed this internship," and then Gia just replies, "Well, I need a boyfriend." I'm like, "Are you really gonna be this character?" Oh, like
I need
that's
to
so
like
cringy.
And then even that, like completely dismissing the boy that she what's his name, Cameron, like completely dismissing him when she came back. And then even that dinner was actually really hard for me to read. It was just so cringy
Yeah,
when she that moment, I guess was like the climax of the book is like, do I stay and finish out the competition or do I go and pursue this career
yeah,
opportunity? Which I think I guess it was done okay because there are a lot of moments like that.
mhm,
Um and I like that in the beginning, I feel like she wasn't made well, towards the end it was different, but outside of Rowan, she wasn't made to feel like a bad person because she was passionate
yeah,
about fashion and like influencing, which I like. But then that moment where she went and that like whole dinner and the way like Gia was talking and then like Matt, whatever,
yeah.
Marco was talking, really cringy to read. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like that climax scene, like those ending where she had to make that decision and she realized like
Yeah,
she didn't like this space because of the people in it. That
yeah,
was the only part I truly enjoyed. Like
yeah,
reading. Like that's kind of the only reason that I rounded up to a 3. Like it's
yeah.
just that ending. Like otherwise it was just it was so hard to read. There were also like the worst part about this book for me was why were they talking in abbreviations? Like
Uh,
like I highlighted it.
so
She goes, "Is this place like IDK, a CIA front or something? Who says IDK?" Who? And there were moments where she said LOL out loud. I'm like, nobody does
I
that.
need I need I need adults that are going to write YA to let go of their ego and
Yeah,
hire teenagers
really
to
does.
read it. Like please, just like let it go, have them read it. Nobody talks like that.
Ugh,
And even still, if you want it's 2022. Like nobody talks like that, no matter how old they are.
like,
Geo was the
some
social media pop culture insert.
yeah,
I guess. Oh my god, I guess.
like Gia said, Tahira is amazeballs. She'll make something fabulous. I promise. What is this?
Amaze
Like the
balls.
1990s? Like
And then even that,
millennial?
like, they were talking about like poutine, but that's the only Canada reference we got. I was like, that's
They
it?
went to
Okay.
Niagara. Like
Bro, you're literally in from Canada and you're like, let me go to Niagara Falls.
oh,
Tell us something else more interesting. Like, what the hell?
yeah, like oh my goodness.
I'm
It's
screaming. She even
so
tell them they caught on after a few times of her. Like, literally, not not for vibes. Even that, she mentioned at the end, she was like, me and Rowan haven't had sex yet, but like I can't keep my hands off of him. I was like, okay, all right, love that. I feel like in a lot of YA books, you don't even understand why the character and the main best friend are even friends in the first place.
yeah. Like there has to be like I feel like the authors who write these best friends have never actually had a best friend. Like
Clearly,
it's so like I don't know, it's so weird. I don't understand how people can write this and then not write characters that make sense.
even this is so funny. Like literally, her and her sister riding back from I guess Toronto back to Bakersfield, and she's like, "Oh yeah, my sister's kind of cool." And she's like, her sister, she says to her sister, like, "Was I really that type of influencer?" And she was like, "Yeah." So I didn't want to talk to you, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like they didn't speak. She was like, "Yeah, I have a little sister." Anyway, okay.
She really did. She
Oh my god.
oh this
Oh my god. Ola literally was in the Discord server re-editing a whole
Juniper over here was like saying LOL in conversations. I was like, the only time I've ever heard that is if someone is doing it ironically. Like
literally.
nobody
I
nobody
thought
uses
Juniper
that.
was like, okay, I understand she's younger than them, but they're like what 17, 18. They're graduating high school.
Yeah.
She can't be 16 talking like that. And I was
Yeah.
so confused, especially when they gave her like a girlfriend. I was like, She
Yeah.
she's like 12.
Yeah.
Like my
Yeah.
brain
I
couldn't
didn't
compute
understand
it.
the age. Like, I was like, she's in love with the brother's best friend,
Right.
but that age doesn't make it.
I don't even know if they
it
gave Leanne, I think it's her name. I don't think they gave Leanne an age. It was just
but if
so
she's
weird.
the brother's best friend, then she's gotta be around 17 or 18. And then that just bugs me because, like, that is a serious age gap that, like,
Like, what are we doing?
yeah,
Yeah, I would say that that climax and even seeing her kind of stand up to her parents and just be a bit more firm about what she wants. It's definitely something that I could relate to only because I feel like in this industry and just in life, we're just as women, we're always taught like what we should be doing.
yeah,
And it's easy with social media to lose track of what you really want to do or how you want to do stuff because you're just like caught up in the way that everybody else is like existing and doing
yeah.
their content and doing this and that. And so I did like seeing those moments, but
Mhm.
girl, I was over it. One of my favorite quotes in the book was nah, she's just kind of strange. She do this weird videos on YouTube talking about books and stuff. Why does it and you want us to make bookish content about your
Like,
oh my god.
and it's sad because Juniper was the only good character in the entire book. Like, she was
Yeah,
so cute
I
and
like
innocent, and I was like, I
Jennifer.
love her. She's really talkative, but she just gives me like Anne of Green Gables vibes, and I was like, cool.
Not blow my brains out. Yes. Yes. This book is
Yeah,
definitely circa 2012,
yeah.
20 to 15,
This is the height
2015
of the YA
YA.
dystopian era. Like, if someone told me this was a
This
dystopian book, I honestly would believe them.
this literally was written the way that Shatter Me was written by
Mm,
another Tahira who has questionable writing skills. Anyway,
yeah. Yep.
not even gonna bring her up.
Though
But
I
yeah,
am
it was just
enjoying this
so
Woven
weird.
Kingdom right now. Just
We're
by the
reading it
way.
in a few months. I think we're reading it. Yeah, I think we're reading it in like 2 months. Apparently, the girlie said that there's hope.
Yeah, I mean,
Bismillah.
I'm enjoying
Very,
it right
very
now. I'm
scared.
at like 100-ish pages in, and I'm actually kind of liking it. Um,
Okay.
which is surprising. It has flowery writing, so if you're prepared for like flowery,
She
purple
couldn't let
prose,
go of the damn flowery
but
writing if she
that's okay.
tried.
I'm a fan of that because I read Hafsa Faizal, Roshni Chokri. Like, it's that
Yeah,
kind of flower, and so I'm like, that's fine. It's fine for
yeah.
me. But
Speaking of flowers, okay, she was okay. So they're doing the little flower sculpture thing, which was kind of cool, kind of interesting
yeah,
to some extent. What I did really like, I think this is another thing that made me put it as 3 stars. I did like the way that they showed Rowan also being like dedicated to his craft.
yes,
He didn't just exist to like be a villain or enemy
yeah,
towards her, like to oppose her. He did kind of have his own experiences. Even them mentioning the fact that he used to date whatever that girl's name was and that he
yeah,
did the competition last year. I like that because I feel like he was fleshed out. Even him
yeah,
talking about his issues with his father. I like that, they didn't paint his father to be him and his father's relationship to be um strenuous. It felt normal. Like
yeah,
him making a decision for himself, but then his father being like, I would prefer for you to do this, and them kind of having a little bit of like tension. I
yeah,
feel like it happens in high school. So I appreciate it wasn't the whole like I'm black and I have a shitty dad trope. Like
yeah,
that was great. And I did like reading about two creatives being together. It's something that because I'm of marriageable age.
same.
I would say that I say that I would want one of my biggest I feel like wants or needs out of a partner is somebody who is also creative. I would love to be with somebody who works in whatever creative industry that they're in, but it was
Yeah,
nice to see how even though they were in like kind of miles apart in what they were doing, they
yeah,
found certain things to like bond through
yeah,
and like really work through. I think that is the thing that made me believe their relationship. That's why I could have believed them being friends just because
yeah,
they did kind of work well together creatively. The other stuff,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know about that.
yeah.
I don't know about
I feel
that.
like there if I mean, other than the fact that I didn't want romance in the book in the first place, but like,
Yeah.
if they'd just been friends, it would have been so nice to see. Like, I just feel like
Yeah.
Muslims need more friends, and I'd be okay. Like, not every book
Even
has
being
to have
friends with
romance.
men, like
Yeah,
even that, because we have to acknowledge the ways that our communities can be very hypersexualized, as if every guy that you look at, you're gonna be like struggling to lower your gaze. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's
yeah. Like
fine to
it's
just, you can,
impossible to be in this society without having either male colleagues that you consider friends or just
yes,
male friend. Like, fine, you don't hang out with them by yourself. That's fine.
yeah,
Take your do whatever you need to, but like
right.
you can't do like live in America without or Canada or wherever without having
Yeah.
male
Especially in
friends.
this space, it was a group of people. Like it was a
Yeah,
friend group. It's like, okay,
yeah,
this makes sense. Like I could see them. I could understand even him coming over to her aunt's house. It's always him, his
yeah,
sister Leanne. Like, okay, it made sense. Gia was always there.
yeah,
It was a missed opportunity for sure. Yeah,
yeah.
I agree. I like Jennifer as a character. She was supposed to.
I forgot.
Yeah.
I didn't. I forgot that she was Rowan's sister. Um, and then it would be mentioned, and I was like, "Oh, right, she's not white." It's like,
So
whoops.
weird. Oh, so weird. So weird. And then to come in at the end and be like, yeah, my mom is
Yeah,
so toxic. What the fuck is going on?
yeah. That doesn't redeem you of being a bully. Like,
It
what?
was, oh my gosh, it was so weird. And her mom like trying to live vicariously through her, trying to like mess up their competition thing. It was like, oh my
Very
god,
Disney Channel
okay.
original movie.
It's like, okay, Tessa Thompson, like, okay, Camp Rock. Thank you.
Really though,
Thank
like
you
it's
so much.
literally like early. It's not even like I've seen some of the more recent Disney Channel movies, and it's not even
Yeah.
like a common theme now. It's just from early
No.
2000s. So what was this book trying to
Why?
accomplish?
Why? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
You
Yeah.
can't
I'm like,
like you can't.
that's an excuse.
Oh,
I'm screaming. Not life choices. Specifically, what life choices were you questioning? You know, we would love to know what feelings it evoked out of you. Oh my
oh
gosh.
goodness.
I can say I felt like there was a bit too many flowers for me in the book. I know this is about flowers. If I saw the word chicken wire one more freaking time, I'm gonna, yo, I was like,
No,
okay,
really. I feel like
right.
if this book had tried to focus on maybe just the competition aspect and the fashion aspect rather than everything else, it would have been like a pretty
Yes.
fun book. But like
Yeah.
she just threw like everything in there, and I was like,
You could tell the YouTube video she was mentioning, Tahira watching, she was watching. Girl, you don't know what the hell chicken wire is? Can we?
yeah,
Oh my God. I was like, she's like, yeah, like give me my chicken wire. And like it wasn't working and like the chicken wire. Even her relationship with her aunt not really being mentioned is kind of weird
yeah,
because just what you hear, but I feel like all POC aunties, but specifically like you're talking like a brown Muslim aunt, like not even just like, hey, check it in. Like they don't even
yeah,
really have moments together
yeah.
other than that awkward moment of Tahira feeling like her world is crushed because she designed a whole new store without even considering what her aunt would like. Like,
That whole plot like bugged me so much. I was like, you are talking about how you're going into the middle of nowhere and you come in and you're like, oh, all these people are kind of poor, which already, wow, that's mean. Like, she's just
literally.
like complaining about how she's in the like her house is like the house she's living in is so small and all this like stuff. And you didn't stop to consider logically they don't have the budget to do this whole thing that you're making up. Like, you're not in New York. Like, what is that?
It was it was so weird. Like, girl, you could have saved yourself all of this pain and heartache if you kind of just like slow down and listen to other people. And it was
Yeah,
moments like that that made her exactly how Rowan said that she was in the beginning. Even the fact that she was like, "Why are you talking so badly about Rowan and them?" As they repeated things that she said,
yeah, yeah.
like
Like she had no logic in her brain.
none,
It's just none
none.
at all. I was like, this is what happens when you don't have
I'm
brown
screaming.
friends. Like when you don't have a Muslim community that you can have that influence,
Literally,
like you lose that part of like social logic that you're supposed to have.
literally, I'm screaming. It's a very potential solution. Her plans are better than
The
women. Like,
the fact that
oh my god.
This part made me laugh so hard. I was like, I want to know what medicine she's taking.
They don't have to talk to her family. Like his mom just gave her drugs.
Like, which medicine is she taking? I was so confused because, like, as a doctor, I was
Zyrtec?
curious. I was like, I don't know which high tech like allergy drug is giving her like completely completely symptom free around powers. If you're already
Oh
allergic,
no.
fine, you won't go into like shock if you're taking
That's
allergy
great.
medications. But
Nobody
which,
even mentioned like an EpiPen or something. I'm like, what's going
yeah,
like
like which drug is she
what's
taking? I
going
want to
on
know what research
here?
was done for this.
First of all, I completely forget all the time that you're a doctor. It's so crazy because you look 12 and a half in the
Oh,
best way possible.
thank you.
I feel like you'll
I
look
am of
this age
marriageable
forever.
age apparently, so
That's the word of the year. I don't even know what that means because everybody just, but you know when you're in it, when you're
yeah.
in the marriageable
I
age
was in marriageable age
category.
during medical school, but I pretended I wasn't, and now I'm like
I'm
pushed into it
screaming.
now. So
I'm screaming. Literally, no EpiPen, nothing. Rameela is a jack of all trades. Okay, there's nothing she doesn't do. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Literally, I'm telling you,
yeah,
Ola was literally in Discord. Like, Ola, can you get the passage that you edited and please put it in the chat? She literally was like, I'm not a writer or anything, but I'm telling you right now, this sentence, and
yeah,
redid the entire thing. And that's just how you know, first of all, that the book is not hitting. When you have to go through and like really acknowledge the writing and like the plot. Because most of us can say that if the book, the plot, the characters were really, really good, you kind of skip over some of the dumb stuff in the writing style. But this,
yeah.
oh my
This
god.
was just difficult in all aspects of the reading experience.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god. It was just so bad, so questionable. I did hear, I don't know if you ever read any books by this author?
No, I've heard terrible things about the Chai Factor, which I
Mm.
had on my TBR, and then I took it down as soon as I heard like people I trusted were like, "This is the worst book I've ever read." So
Oh my god. Oh my god. Honestly, and I feel like I definitely want to know what is everybody's like least favorite book with like Muslim rap that they read, like the worst Muslim rap that they've ever read. For me, it takes a lot to top Internment by Samir Ahmed. It
I was
takes
gonna say her
a
other book. I
lot.
was going to say Love, Hate, and Other Filters. Legitimately,
Oh
that is my
god.
villain origin story. That book, the
Oh
worst
my.
book of my life.
Oh my god. There it. If I ever read a book that trumps Samir Ahmed's writing, that's how you know you got to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah,
Just go back.
that is the worst book. I like. I didn't read Internment because I hated Love, Hate, and Other Filters so much.
You
It
would
was,
hate Internment. The fact that she wrote a whole book, like, just just bear with me. The premise of the book is that it's a dystopian society, kind of like in the futuristic, where Muslims are put into internment camps because they're
right.
Muslim.
It's funny that you say that that's dystopian society, though. That's like happening in places. So
Right.
like,
But the gag is the main character doesn't practice, doesn't wear hijab. The first scene of the book, she's like running. She's like, it's like middle of the night, and she's sneaking off to go make out with her Jewish boyfriend of all things, breaking curfew. And then the next scene, she's in an internment camp. I'm like, yo, hey, how, how, girl? First of
yeah,
all, first of all, you in an internment camp for being a Muslim. Nobody knows you're Muslim. They was like, oh my god, no, you wouldn't be in there. No, you wouldn't
yeah.
be in there. And it was crazy because there was moments where like she would mention walking past this like Quran group that they were having. And she's like, yeah.
No,
Anyway, what?
that's like
And they were like, you want to
um
join?
Love, Hate, and Other Filters was the entire book. First of all, basically nobody's gonna read this book, so I'm just gonna spoil it. But the ending of it is she wants to be a film person or a photographer or something, and her parents don't approve of that, and she decides to go to college for that anyway. And her parents disown her, like fully disown her because she wanted to major in like photography. And I was like,
Oh my God. Do you know
What
how many
happened?
Daisy
Like, what
weddings
happened to
happen
the
every month?
author?
You know how
Like,
many Daisy weddings happen every month? She would make a
yeah,
killing. Are you dumb?
like
Okay.
what happened? No, but like, what happened to this author to make her hate her parents this much to like write about it in this way? Like,
And
it was
that's literally what it is when it comes to Muslim rep, quote unquote
yeah,
Muslim rep. It is Muslim authors
yeah,
writing their traumas
yeah,
and everybody's passing it off as if this is the quintessential Muslim
yeah,
experience, and it's dangerous that they don't acknowledge that this experience was very specific and was
yeah,
traumatic.
yeah.
It,
It was
it
just
it's so annoying.
oh, it was the worst book I've ever like. Oh my
Not
god,
crying in the car.
good.
Samira, don't, girl. Oh my god. Okay, wait. Super big. Okay, so this was the dialogue in the book. I raised the brow. Period. I love Gia, comma. But sometimes you took the whole boyfriend desperation thing too far. Period. We've been tight since grade 9, and we're closer
Grade
than
9.
sisters.
Who says
Right.
grade 9? Ninth
Then
grade.
she said should have been. I raised the brow. I love Gia. We've been tight since grade 9, and we're closer than sisters. But sometimes she took the whole, literally, like it was
Yeah,
just like why,
it was
what,
just
like, oh my god.
ugh.
I'm telling you, it was the worst book I've ever read
It
in
was
my life. Oh my
that
god.
is like the lowest of low. If I want to compare like bars of like so like the bar I have set for me right now is love from A to Z. But
Literally.
if I'm gonna go to the bottom of the bottom, it's going to be Samira Ahmed's books.
I
So
absolutely agree. And I literally sent in
yeah,
our Discord server the other day that she was on Twitter. I never go on Twitter, but I was just on Twitter, and she was complaining about the fact that Internment is on a do not read list, like a banned list for schools. As if there was anything impactful or powerful about it.
the only reason that
Anything at all.
she didn't even claim her like so in Love Hate and Other Filters what happens is that there's a terrorist attack or something and so people start
Oh, of
bullying
course.
her because she has the same last name as the terrorist and um she doesn't even claim that she's Muslim like nobody knows that she's Muslim until like people start bullying her and then she's like I'm proud to be Muslim and I'm like you weren't proud before so
Girl, how are people literally being, and let's just be honest, when we talk about Muslims dealing with hate crimes and Islamophobia, it's because of the ways that they are visibly Muslim and
yeah
visibly practicing and
yeah
living Muslim lives. You're not under that category. And it's very, first of all, like, if you want to be considered Muzzy Gang, you have to put the work in. I'm
yeah
so sorry. I'm not saying these authors aren't Muslim, but you can't
yeah
claim Islamophobia that you wouldn't experience.
yeah
She wouldn't be in them damn camps.
like
Girl, you wouldn't be in them camps.
even when I wasn't wearing hijab, everybody who knew me knew I was Muslim. And that is because one, I was
Right.
really obnoxious about it. Like I was like, I'm Muslim, guys, it's Eid, or
Right.
wearing mehndi and like that. Like I was
Yeah.
very obnoxious about it. Or like I would get picked up to go to Jummah prayer. I would miss school
Yeah.
to go. Like it was very like, you know, everybody knew even when I wasn't wearing hijab. So like the fact that like it just blows my mind that there are people
Oh
who
my
are
God.
obvious about it and so even if it's just like one or two things. Like you don't I'm not like over here flaunting
Nothing.
it all the time, but
And I guess they view being Muslim as kind of like a cultural thing, which is, I feel like, problematic as hell. But even if that's your experience, like, even with those cringy ass books where it's like, yeah, I'm Muslim, I drink, I know I'm not, like, okay,
but
insert
I'm not
any
like other
episode of
Muslims.
Rami
I'm fun.
ever. Insert any episode of Rami ever. At least Rami acknowledges that he is sinning. In these books, they don't
Yeah,
even acknowledge it, and that's what's dangerous. It's like,
exactly.
in addition to her singling out other Muslims who
Yeah,
do things that she's supposed to be doing.
yeah.
Come on.
Like the
Come
bar is on the
on.
floor for me. My only like the major thing I look for is just are you like even if you're not practicing as much, are you putting down other people who practice differently? That is
Right.
the lowest of
Right.
lowest bars.
Literally. She wouldn't be able to answer. I promise you. And this is why there's a reason I don't talk about Tahira Mafi on this channel. It's because I have very strong feelings about her because we have the same name. And you're embarrassing me out here in these streets. I don't talk
Yeah,
about her for a reason. But the fact that she went all of Shatter Me, the nonsense that was, and then drops not one but two books about a
yeah.
post 9/11 Muslim experience.
That involved dating a white boy.
Two. Are we surprised that she's married to Ransom Riggs? No. Is Ransom Riggs Muslim? I doubt
No.
it. I doubt it. Okay. Like, girl, I was like, I just can't handle it. I can't deal with it. And I think this is why we have to be so honest about our
Yeah.
experiences with these books, because the result can be very dangerous
Yeah.
and
Like
super
even
unrealistic.
like I read A Very Large Expanse of Sea,
Mm,
and personally, like it was at the point where my bar was so low from Love, Hate, and Other Filters that this one
yeah,
exceeded that. Um,
yeah,
and so I was like, okay, fine, whatever. She's dating a white boy, and I knew because the author is also with a white man, so like I was just like, fine. Um,
right.
but she didn't take her hijab off for him, so I was like, I guess it's a pass,
I mean, that's
you know.
that's great. That's
But
great.
like, but like as I grow older and I've read more books, I'm like, yeah, that was not, you
No,
know. So
it's not it. Oh gosh. Is it- Oh my gosh. Like, it's not even any good drama. Like, it's not even like she was really like cursing people out or like had these amazing clapbacks or like,
yeah,
it's real dry.
yeah, like
You can't even consider it just like a quote unquote regular anonymous book. Because it's just like, okay, what are we doing? Yeah, and she already know what it was. And then when she was like, this book isn't about my relationship, but like talking about a large expanse of sea, it's
yeah.
the closest to autobiographical. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much about that. It's very obvious. We get it. We
Yeah.
get it. And
I
am I
didn't read her other
surprised?
ones, so
And am I surprised, even though people are saying that her newest book is good, am I surprised that she decides to write about gins? No. Because when you're literally, I feel like, capitalizing off of the Muslim experience, when you
yeah,
move into fantasy, what do? You write about gins. That's what
yeah,
we do.
that's true. That's true. And I
You
feel like
write about
I
gins.
like I'm enjoying the book right now. Like it's more cultural. There's no like Islam
Mm,
stuff, so I can like move on from that, which is great
yeah.
for me. I I love like the cultural aspects and the storytelling
Mm,
aspects of like that, but like if it was Muslim, I probably wouldn't have read it. Like,
yeah.
you know,
I'm
because it's
actually
like
surprised that
Persian
it's
culture inspired.
cultural.
Yeah,
I'm
that's true
surprised
too.
that it has so much Persian culture in it. Because, like, no shade to the author, but she's not someone that really looks super Persian, or that I see in including a lot of her Persian culture and identity even into like her
Yeah,
personal life. It's not something
yeah,
that
that's
I
true.
visibly can see. So I mean, I guess this is a process of reclaiming these things
Yeah,
for her, which I mean she has every right to. It's not that she's not
yeah,
Muslim or not Persian, but you just have to acknowledge the privilege of your books being her and people like Samir Ahmed and Farah Heron, like your books being at the front line of quote unquote Muslim representation when you know that you are not living or practicing an experience
yeah.
that
They
requires this
fit.
much
Yeah,
representation.
they fit the Western idea of what Western people want Islam to be. So they get
Precisely.
like the easier, they get everything. So, and
Yeah,
then our
even
stories are pushed to the side.
yeah, and it's the same argument when we talk about people like S.H. Chakraborty, who, she's a white woman who's a revert. And but
Yeah.
like her books about Muslim jinns, of course, people are like so obsessed with. It's
But
very
her
mid for me,
research is
but
so well done. Like I loved her books. They're so good.
it's mid. It's mid. And for me, I none of them really hit. I think I got to how many books is it? Three?
They're
Four?
three. I don't know
Okay.
if you read the third one. Last time I
No.
mentioned it, you
I,
didn't.
I
Yeah.
yep, I got to the second one and I'm just like, okay, another 3 star. Great. I can say I'll claim him to the end of time. Prince Ali Zaid is the love of my life. I love him with every bit of my being. That's all. That's all I can say about that series. Like, that's all. It wasn't bad. I can say that I liked it. That's why all of them have been three
Yeah.
stars, but none has made me be like, oh my god. Like, yes, the world, the lore is amazing. She gets 5 stars in that category for sure.
Yeah.
You can tell she knows what she's talking about. The way that she built the whole world, like it was very kind of like visual and visceral for
Yeah.
me. But in the way that We Hunt the Flame went from like, okay, that was a 3 star, I liked it, to like, um We Free the Stars was like, oh my gosh, this blew my freaking mind. I didn't get that. I
I was
haven't
wait. I was
gotten it.
like, you're not allowed to have We on the Flame slander in this house. Like,
I
there's
don't know.
no
I don't hate
slander.
We Hunt the Flame. I realized that with We Hunt the Flame and even City of Brass, I don't like traveling books as first
Ah,
books,
okay,
especially in a
got
fantasy,
you.
because we're traveling. But this is also, like I
Yeah,
said, first book in a fantasy. There's a lot of info dumping, and it's like,
yeah,
no. I just
yeah,
envision that the whole book is them on a camel, and I'm like, and some parts of the book is literally what they're doing. They're just like
yeah,
on a horse. I'm like, can we get there? Can we get there? It's like camel, fire, horse, drink, food. Can we just, where are we going? Like,
yeah,
can we, please, can we get, I think that's literally just my only issue. I realize that's the comparison. That's the
yeah.
pattern. Yeah, it's just
That's
not,
true.
it's
That's
not
true.
giving. It's not giving. I never read any of her books beyond Shatter Me. I'm screaming. I didn't know she was Muslim. It,
This okay, so for me, I can tell
good
you,
night.
if you go on my Goodreads and you look up my shelves and you see that Shatter Me rated as 4 and 5 stars, all of them that I've read, ignore it. But like also my review for like the latest one or like whichever one the last one I read
Why won't she
was
stop writing?
was I enjoy the experience while I read them, but as soon as I close the book, I forget everything that happened. It's just in one ear and out the other for me. It's just
But
pure
why does she
vibes.
keep writing the series? Does she think she's Cassandra Clare? Because it's not giving. I don't know. I don't know if somebody needs to tell her to like shatter me, destroy me, break me. How about finish the book, close the book, please. Let like
The first
let
three are
that no,
vibes, not gonna lie.
no. And but the reason I didn't like them is because there's very specific tropes I don't like. I read that book and I kind of forgot about it. But then when I started reading Akatar, specifically Akamath, I said, yeah, this is what I hate. When authors are so obvious about who they
Oh,
want the person to
yeah,
be with, they
yeah, yeah,
literally
yeah.
write the most outlandish shit in the world. Like the fact that what's his name? What's his name? Warner. Warner went from being like the sweetest guy in the world to he was putting his hands on her. I was like, all for
Or they
Adam.
went the other guy, the guy that she meets in the first book, ends up being the absolute worst person in the world in the second book and does a full like 180. And I'm like,
It's not even
there's such thing as an
realistic.
arc. You gotta arc,
She
you
could
know?
she could have, and I guess it's not as interesting. But why? And I felt this way also about Akamath's. Like, why does it have to be like literally the abuse of women to be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna be with
Yeah.
somebody else. They could have just been like, you know what, bro? I don't even think you're that cute no more. Like, can they just break up and move on?
Yeah, like I feel
Especially,
like there should have been a corrupt if you're gonna make us hate a character, don't be like
yes,
a full like on off switch right there. You gotta make an
it
arc.
was so crazy. And then I remember reading the book about I think when she got with his real name was like what Adam or whatever, one of the two. When she got with the other one, he literally that book and I highlighted it, he had an answer for all of the misconceptions she had of him.
Yeah, it was just so
Back to
weird to
back
me.
to back to back to back. And I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely 17, but I'm not an idiot.
Yeah,
I'm not an
I don't
idiot. Like
understand why people ship the characters. I didn't ship them. I enjoyed the ride though. I was just like,
I like
okay,
the other guy. What's his name? Kenji. I liked Kenji.
Kenji was the best
He seemed
character.
cool.
He had a
Yeah, he was
hijabi.
like,
He had an hijabi love interest at one point in like the second series. It was so weird. I was like, I get.
okay.
I mean, I'm glad that like Kenji gets the hijabi girl, but also if she's hijabi, then like,
I don't know. She won't stop. I'm telling you, she thinks that she's Cassandra Clare. Exactly, like you said, everybody that liked the first couple, like, oh yeah, no, I hate it.
yeah,
It was so weird. Just for, I don't know if y'all ever gonna read the series, but I hope not. All of that with like Warner and Adam, and then Juliet going from like one of them to the other, just for them to be brothers. I have to go.
so,
Oh my god! But that's
oh, I
peak
forgot about that.
dystopian,
I'm telling
peak
you, 1 year.
dystopian nonsense.
It
Just
was
for
very
them
much
to
peak of
be
2012 dystopian era. Like if you read Hunger Games and Divergent and then you went and read
yes,
Shatter Me, you're like, oh, this is great, and then that's it.
yes. But there's a reason why those books got movies and this one didn't, and
That's true.
we're just gonna leave it there. Oh my gosh! Wow! Thank you so much, Rameela, for joining
Of
us
course, I
for
loved
this
slandering
live
this book.
stream. Really appreciate it. For my viewers, y'all don't have to go away just yet because I'm just gonna talk about what we're doing for the rest of like the month, the year, or whatever, book wise. But thank you, Rameela, for joining. I will be listing all of her socials and links in the description. I don't think it's there yet because I was rushing, but it will be there. Follow her, support her. She's amazing. Thanks for joining.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh
Like, oh my gosh. Okay, y'all. Just little old me. Now you can see how freaking disgusting my apartment is. We're not gonna talk about it. Okay. Do I have it? Actually, I feel like hold on. Let me at least get the book. Uno momento. Let me grab it. Oh yeah, I do have it. Here it is. I hope nothing falls. No, my AirPod's dying. Okay. So much fun. So happy that Rameela joined us. She is such a sweetheart, and I really appreciate all her insights. Oh, I didn't tell you guys my official period. She really did. Good night. Anyway, I didn't tell y'all my official rating for Tahira and Bloom. If you follow me on Goodreads, and you already know, I also gave it a 3-star. Just because of the ending, just because I really resonated with her experience. Um, as a designer and influencer towards the end, like redefining what that is and trying to forge a different path for herself. Also, like I said, I really loved reading about, excuse me, her and Rowan at the end because I want to be in like a cute artsy like marriage, inshallah. So like I love just seeing them like collaborate. And actually, like we said in the live show, when they were friends or like getting along, they got along really well. So yeah, I gave it 3 stars, but it's definitely a 2.75, rounded up to a 3 for sure. I feel like I posted this in the Discord server what our next book was, but I might not have. Oh, I posted a screenshot a while ago. She really did so well. Like salam. Oh, before I tell y'all our book for next month, well, for this month, because I really wanted to get this live show out this first week. Did anybody's ratings change? Anybody's rating changed? Anybody taking off a star, adding a star, a 0.5, a 0.75? Anyone? What's tea? Hating the editing, I don't know, especially when the competition was about things you find in the garden and made the dress. Yeah, that was definitely the narcissism. The narcissist stuff definitely came in there because why are you assuming that people wearing a dress? If they made like overalls or a really cool like I'm thinking about like a beekeeper's hat or something. I don't know. Could be like flower. I'm thinking like what do people wear when they're dealing with flowers? Hmm. I mean, thank you, girl. I mean, I mean. Okay. You know, if there's one thing I'm gonna do is like leave you with an impact, you know? Now, is it always a positive one? No. But here we are. Okay, what was your rating? 2.75, I think, round up as a 3, or is it just me? I mean, you know, save yourself the trauma. I told myself that I would read every year. I put like one of Tahira Mafi's books on the Iqra Trial list, and I just never get to it because of the drama. But we're gonna read This Woven Kingdom, inshallah. That's not our next book, but in the same world to really um, balance the YA contemporary nonsense that we just read that was supposed to be Muslim rep. I want us to read a book that I've literally had for like a year. If this is actually an ARC copy, I haven't even got to it yet, but it's described as a dark Persian, Indo-Persian pre-Islamic fantasy novel. I think it's new adult and it's been referenced as like similar to City of Brass and We Hunt the Flame and what other book? I think even an Ember in the Ashes. So without further ado, the book that we're reading for the month of February is The Descent of the Drowned by Anna Dean, who is a Niqabi author, which I also want to add. Because back in the day, the very first Iqra trial, first of all, it's called the Iqra Trials because every month it was a different like book challenge, like read a book. One of the challenges actually was read a book by a veiled author, whether a hijabi or a niqabi. Read a book by a Black Muslim author, whatever. So yeah, this is the book that we are reading. Very excited for it. I've heard mixed things about it. People said that it's really dark. I don't know what really dark means. Girl, if you don't go on Z Library and download the book and say Disney Law, come on now. Come on now. Allah don't want you to suffer. Okay? Because if you think that just because I got this book as an ARC, I don't also have it as a okay on my Kindle. Yes. Oh, cool. Love that. Oh, okay. So the girl is a little bit familiar. Yeah, they sent me this ARC so long ago. But yeah, this is what we're reading. Descent of the Drowned. I'm very, 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 very excited. Yeah, we'll drop a link in the Discord server for Descent of the Drowned. Of the Drowned, yes, that's the book. Who wins? Every time I talk about books, I tell you this. Who wins Goodreads giveaways? What voodoo magic are y'all working? I don't understand. I don't understand. It was that dark. That's what I'm saying. People said it's dark, and I'm like, are we talking about like doing crack in an alley dark? Like how dark is this? So want to read a little bit? Okay, that's beautiful. Hold on, y'all. My AirPods are dying. Uno momento. Boom. Can y'all hear me now? In my head? Yes, Rameela, on a scale of 1 to 10, how dark is it? That's how I feel. I feel like after this fruity flower nonsense, I'm ready for like some dark fantasy. Like, give it to the girls. What are we doing here? Also, do I still have it? Yes. Oh, I'm happy I kept it in the book. Look at the author. Look at the bookmark, y'all. These are the characters. This man look fine as hell. I think that's why I want to read it. Look at this. Look at them. Look at them. Oh my gosh. And I kind of like that it's pre-Islamic because let's not talk about jinns. Let's not mention like, sometimes just don't mention Islam. And I also like because you get to see like the indigenous culture. Look at that. Look at that. Period. Okay, great. You should. I'll put the link in a sec. Not sincerely sincerely Sundays after dark. You know what I mean? Love that. Oh my god. We have to read it. I'm not saying I'm like enjoying it, but I need to know context. What's tea? I'm screaming. Fun as hell. Come on now. Oh my gosh. Because if we don't read this book, I will make y'all reread An Ember in the Ashes. I've read it 3 times. I will make us reread it. And we read it. I think we've read 2 books for the Iqra Trials. I will make y'all reread it. We're reading this. Look at, and even her, she's stunning. Look at like the tribal marks. Oh my gosh. He's giving everything that Reese thinks he is. Girl. Oh my gosh. Yeah, thanks for letting us know. Because that was a bit. Ooh. Oh, look, I just said that I'll give y'all the Z Library link in the Discord server. Like, can you relax? Like, oh my God. What are you talking? First of all, I'm an anti-capitalist. I will never want y'all to buy a book that you haven't read. That's what, well, at least that's what I do. I, because of like my, how my home situation being up in the air and like being kicked out and all of that, I stopped buying books physically and just started reading them digitally. And I only really get books that I really love because I don't want to own books that I don't like, and I never return anything. So yeah. Okay, 20%. Cut it out.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. I thought I'm screaming. I'm screaming. Exactly. Exactly. Period. But yeah, so I'm gonna read on what's on the back. It says, she's bound to serve, he is meant to kill. Survival is their prison. Choice is their weapon. As the okay. This is what I thought. That's what I was like, what's going on? What's happening? Um okay. Okay. As the sacred slave of a goddess. Roma, okay. Now slavery is questionable, because especially as Black History Month, but a slave of a woman. Okay. Roma is of a lower caste that serves, oh no, it is a woman. Roma is of a lower caste that serves patrons to sustain the balance between gods and men. What she wants is her freedom, but deserters are hunted and hanged, and Roma only knows how to survive in her village where women are vessels without a voice. That probably explains the sexual assault. When her younger brother is condemned to the same wretched fate as hers, Roma must choose between silence and rebellion. Leviathan. Is that not like the snake of like the devil? Am I just thinking about Supernatural? Okay. Leviathan is the bastard son of an immortal tyrant raised in a military city where everyone knows of his blood relation to the persecuted clans. Leviathan is considered casteless, lowest of the low. Graduating as one of the deadliest soldiers, he executes in his father's name, displaying his worth. Damn, murder? Oh, this is on the back of the book, girl. What happens in the book? When he faces judgment from his mother's people, the clans, Leviathan must confront his demons and forge his own path if he ever hopes to reclaim his soul. But in the struggle to protect the people they love and rebuild their identities, Roma's and Leviathan's destinies interlock as the immortal tyrant, oh, he is immortal, hunts an ancient treasure that will doom humankind should it come into his possession, a living treasure to which Roma and Leviathan are the ultimate key. Wow. What are the thoughts? Okay. Trigger warnings, physical and emotional abuse, rape. Oh my God, not that word. We'll skip over that. I'm so sorry. Sexual assault, suicide, bigotry, crack. Oh my God. Okay. I'm screaming. Not crack. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Totally understand if the girlies want to skip this book. Y'all are more than welcome to skip over whatever books that you want. Obviously, there's no compulsory here. This is just, gang shit. But I would just like to read the book. Yeah, we're not reading any nonfiction this year, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think so. Not the Ugly Network. This is a dark fantasy and it's new adult, I believe. Well, the author said that it's between new adult and YA, so I'm assuming the characters are like 19 to 20, which is where a lot of people feel like the lines mesh. Well, we shall see. I'm probably going to start it tonight. So, or if you want to wait until get to that point to really start the book, then I understand. I'll probably be starting this tonight. I'm scared. What are you scared about? Okay. I'm a bit surprised that it's that dark. And here's the thing, it's short. So how is it that dark and we have enough time for like the fantasy? That's what's concerning me. I just hope it's not all trauma. You know what I mean? Okay, yeah. Please let me know. Like I said, totally understand if anybody wants to skip out on this book. obviously I'll be here reading it. I would love to do sprints, but y'all hoes don't be answering in the chat. We'll see. We'll see. Y'all be bothering me. I'm not talking about main squeeze. I'm talking about the Iqra Trials. Y'all don't be in the chat. But yeah, I'd love to do a reading sprint. We'll pick a day. Maybe we'll do reading sprints like every certain day of the week. I won't say Monday because y'all, we do Sincerely Sundays and nobody's gonna be alive on Monday. Not really. Oh, I forgot that y'all are not booktube girlies. Not Persuasion. Okay, we'll do. Exactly. So literally I feel nothing. Reading sprints, when basically set a timer that you would be reading from this time to this time, and then everybody reads. And then so I've done Twitter sprints, I've done YouTube live sprints, which is what this person is referring to. But yeah, I'm not talking about necessarily a live show sprint. Maybe I'll do one throughout the week. If people, I feel like y'all are pretty actually like active in the Iqra Trials chat. At least in bookish discussions, we're pretty active. So yeah, if y'all want me to do some live reading sprints, which is basically I put a timer on the screen, like we're going to read for 10 to 15 minutes, and then we all are sitting there reading our books, and then we come back and talk about what we've read. We can do that. Just let me know. But if we don't do a live sprint, it'll probably just be like, okay, y'all, so it's 10 a.m. From 10 a.m. to 10:15, we're going to read, and then everybody talk about what they read afterwards. Reading sprints are really helpful. I did them a lot with the Unfriendly Black Hotties, and that's how I read so many books. I think I finished the second City of Brass book during a reading sprint, like just from doing that consistently. Oh, that's by Kweki Emezi. Yes, I believe. Why you only reading self-help books, child? Okay, y'all know that I am queen of like working on yourself, whatever, self-care, whatever. At the end of the day, your life is not a project. There's always going to be something to work on. But life happens in between all of the fixing of yourself. You know what I mean? But then, you know what? I'm kicking you out of the group. Ahora. I'm letting you know this right now. Also, let me put the link. Please be aware that it's primarily a women in femme group. I would say anything that I make is primarily for the girlies. What am I looking for? White people. And of course, gender non-conforming folk. Period. Okay, copy. So if anyone wants to join I think this is for the Iqra Trials. Let me make sure that was the right one. And not me just giving out land to the lames. Lord, please. Okay, yeah, but anybody wants to join the book club Discord server, let me know. Okay? Hotline blings. Por favor, please. It does. Just saying. Okay, do y'all want to there's 20 of us on right now. So do y'all want to pick out a day right now and we'll just figure it out together as a collective. I feel like Fridays are actually a good day if we were to do some type of sprint or something, and we can even just do it in Discord, kind of like when I do Sincerely Cinemas, but instead of it just being like voice, it can be video as well. Somebody just got to remind me to put clothes on because I don't like doing that. Yeah, I'm down with Fridays. And then I guess we'll just pick a time and we'll sprint for maybe an hour. Unless we're doing a live sprint, which live sprints, if y'all follow Mel Reed's, her live sprints are like hours long. Also, Monty does live sprints. Those can just be like very, very, very long. But yeah, I'm good with Friday. Let me know. Send me a thumbs up if you're good on Friday as well, and then we can discuss time and stuff, or we can make the time customizable every Friday. Let me know. I forgot you're all the way across the world. Oh my gosh. Debauchery. Yo, just like they're not well. They're not okay, neither of them. Oh my gosh. That's literally how, if anybody wants to um, start a YouTube channel and get their watch hours up, live shows and streaming is really how you do that. Like, that's how I got monetized pretty quickly, because I was doing live shows, even doing live shows with the hotties. Yeah, because so you're reading, and then in between, like when you're done reading, you just be chit chatting, and then you end. Some people, they end up talking. The sprint will be 15 minutes, and they're talking for 2 hours, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we didn't sprint again. Let's do another sprint." Like, it just be, a fun old time. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot that Naz is in tomorrow. They live in the future. I forget this all the time. Oh yeah, whatever. I was just wondering where you were at, because yeah, your besties, Adhan is here and Ola's here, and I didn't see you in the comments. I'm like, what's tea? But yeah, it's basically like, y'all know how my live shows be. Just be long as hell for no reason. Like, just be chit chatting. But that could be fun. Doing that. Okay, y'all. It is 8 o'clock. I am hungry as hell, and I'm menstruating. Terrible combos. So I'm going to start the book. I'm going to get off of live because y'all know I will be here all day. Like I said, this live stream will be saved onto my channel. So anybody that has not made it in current time, y'all can come back and watch this. This was so fun. So excited that everybody enjoyed. Well, enjoyed is a relative word, but at least had an interesting experience reading our first book. You know what I mean? Everybody had a lot of thoughts and opinions. And yeah, so once again, our book for February, The Descent of the Drowned by Anna Lalveen. This is our book. Oh, and I'll be putting the Z Library link literally like right now. Thanks for joining. Good night, you guys. Send me a DM or whatever if you have any thoughts, comments, questions, anything. Tuesdays.